Suze! I'm speaking Japanese again. It's Japanese words. They probably don't make any sense in context. But this is the Ninja Blaze Megazord. I think it's the first six-piece Megazord in Sentai history and Power Rangers history. Um, Now, this is interesting because this was Bandai America's last Megazord. Mainly because the entire Super Ninja Steel line was a complete flop. I mean, come on. The other Zords they had were the Stegosaurus Zord and the Tiger Cannon Zord, which just basically aren't real Zords. They don't combine, they're more like the Cycles, in fact. And the Gorilla Blast Zord, which, no joke, is literally just a dart shooter. So apart from this Megazord here, they fluffed the Zord line. Right, before we get into things, there's this Megazord. There's other things that I want to point out. Earlier today, I found this little bloke. This is, yeah, he needs a bit of a dusting. This is apparently a bungee from an old Magic Box series called Bungees, and the tagline was "Flick to Stick." I can't remember where I got this guy from, but he is very squidgy. He's rubber. I don't plan on getting any more of these, but it's really neat to have a thing from Bungees here. And this is a magnet. And he was down the back of a radiator for goodness knows how many years, but I found him. The radiator hasn't like melted the rubber or anything, I hope. It just seems to be in the same quality. I think it's got the same kind of finish as the Chrome Super things, like this purple, metallic purple. So very nice. Looks a bit wrong if you face him head on though. Right, and the second thing is I'm going to bring up to do with this Megazord now. I have a reminder here telling me that when this Megazord came out, Bandai America made a bit of an oopsie, because when they went out and decided to give the retailers notifications that this Megazord will be coming into stock soon, they didn't give them the photos of this Megazord. Yeah, the light's still working. They didn't give them photos of this particular Megazord, which is the American version. They instead gave them photos of the Japanese Gekiatsu Dio, which is the Japanese version with lights and with sounds. Not lights and sounds, just sounds. So they also, you could tell it's the Japanese version because there's actually quite a bit of paint missing from the legs and the arms, presumably, but mostly the legs. But we'll get onto that later. So, bit of a false advertising job there, lad. So that's not looking too good for yous. Right, let's get on to the reviewing of the individual Zords. Now, main thing is most of the Zords, except one, the middle one here, uses some degree of clear orange plastic. I think this might be the most amount of clear plastic used on a Megazord to date. I think. Unless the Terra-Free Zord has outdone this, but I don't know. First Zord we have to look at, let's think still, is the Falcon Zord or the Firebird Zord. I don't know what it's referred to. I'm gonna call it a Firebird or a Phoenix. Zord, it's been sculpted very nicely, I must say. They've done the wings up nice. The clear plastic does look amazing as usual. The head's done entirely clear plastic with the Red Ranger symbol on there, which is that's nice. They include the symbols of all the Rangers on each Zord, so that's a very nice touch. The bottom of the tail is actually hollow, which I don't really mind. Articulation, it's a bit skewed, let's say that. Oh no, it's not. No. I say it's a bit skewed because it's actually quite tight. The wings are quite tight. The left wing doesn't seem to be too bad, but the right one, it's really tight for some reason. The wings can go up and down, so there's good articulation there. The head also can move up and down, which is also good, so the articulation's not done too badly. Again, the use of clear plastic is done very nicely. Right, And next up we have the Serpent Zord. Now this is where things start to get a bit disappointing. Paint's not done too badly, just general colouring. There's no other than the little ranger symbol on both sides. There's no other paint, I don't think, apart from the eyes, which are done up in chrome, in metallic green, just like the falcon that I forgot to point out. So metallic green paint and metallic blue paint for the little ranger symbol. Again, loads of clear plastic for a Power Rangers toy. I really appreciate that. What I really don't appreciate is the fact that in the instructions they tell you to use I think it's a 5-inch figure for this Zord, and that's not how Zords are supposed to work, because Zords are meant to be like 10 times 300 times the size of a Ranger, so that doesn't even work logically. They did I think they put on some spinning wheels, which I'm not sure were present on the original Japanese version, but I don't know. Again, what I don't like is the fact they've decided to stick some Zord Builder ports here, which they do for Zord Builder, but just looks wrong. It does. I mean, maybe not so much in the bike mode, but it will do in Megazord mode. And the next Zord we have to look at is the Turtle Zord, and this is a brick. It is. I'm sorry. It's just a brick. It is. I'd say for the turtle mode, it's missing the most amount of paint. The top is quite nicely painted up for the Megazord mode, but the rest of it is missing a lot of paint, just like with the Nitro Zord from before, which is a bit bad, let's be honest. Again, the Yellow Ranger symbol's done nicely. The little ranger darts that are meant to shoot out in Megazord mode, there's no other place to store them, so you have to keep them in here, but we'll get to that later. The Megazord head's already out, which it was on the Japanese version, but again, we'll get to that later. And their head has been painted up nicely too, with the metallic green eyes, which, yes, I do like. The next Zord we have to look at is the Tiger Zord. Now, paint's not looking so hot on this. It's actually missing, it's missing it's missing a bucket load of paint on the actual tiger face, which the leg Zords always seem to suffer for these Megazords. Again, clear plastic use here. The eyes were done in chrome green, so I suppose that makes up for it, I suppose, if you're a paint fanatic and really like chrome colour paint. They did paint up the White Ranger symbol with white, so yeah, technically it's got some paint, but this is really the whole other Zord parts of Zord have had to suffer because of it. Don't really like that. And then the next thing we have is the Panda Zord, and again this one is missing some more paint. The head's done up nice though, but again the rest of the Zord is missing all the paint you could imagine. Again, some nice clear plastic, and one thing I will point out that I like, here's the bottom of the Zord quickly, one thing I do like is that not only is the symbol painted up with chrome pink paint, but this entire disc spins. And I don't know why. I don't know if it was like this on the original. I don't even know if if not, I don't know why they decided to include it. I suppose it's a nice little gimmicky feature. And the last Zord, of course, we have is the Piranha Zord, which I know it was like a carp fish in the original Ninja. But they changed it to a piranha because piranhas are cooler, plus it looks like a piranha regardless of its teeth. I don't recall carps having that kind of teeth. Again, there's massive usage of metallic gold paint, and since the whole star shape takes up most of the Zord, I'm going to assume that there was little to no paint missing from this Zord, because the star shape takes up the entire Zord. They did remove the rolling wheels, as you can see here. There's some things that look like wheels, but they ultimately don't do anything. Because this is another arm, These all builder ports are not identical, like there's a one missing from the back, for instance, because of this orange clear plastic, which, yeah, I don't mind, but really they shouldn't have included that on the Serpent Sword if they knew that wouldn't work in design wise. But very nice. A bit sticky outy, but what you gonna do about that? Also, it doesn't stand up properly. We've got a case of the Turtle Sword again from Power Ranger Samurai. It's too heavy on the back. Turns it into a functioning seesaw. Yeah, I don't like that. They're just letting... In this case, they were letting the past happen again and again and again and again. And I'm not really a fan of that, and I've organised them all wrong. Anyway, time for Megazord mode. Sorry about that. My insides have slipped. What I mean by that is, of course, I swallowed a bit of slobber down the wrong way. Sorry about that, because I do talk a lot during these review videos. So to transform this into... Actually, what am I doing? I'm meant to be doing the legs first. Sorry about this. To transform into Megazord mode, of course, we'll do the legs first. Legs transformation is pretty simple. Just move up the front parts of the Zords. And that's basically it. So do the same again for the Panda. It's not a Fiat Panda, don't worry. You can see here there's a very big use of hollow plastic, as opposed to the Megazord, which entirely fills it out. I don't know why they did this. They could have made it look the exact same way as the Megazord, but they didn't do that. The spinning gimmick still works though, so that's nice. Now for the Turtle Zord, we've got to push the face down like this so it locks into place. Yeah, it sounds like it locks in, but it's not that tightly locked in. It will survive a few knocks. If you can drop it, it won't just fall out again. But yeah, it's not really too tightly locked in. And then you've got to move these joints down and position them so that they become some leg joints. And then you attach the Megazord and the Pandazord. Yeah, it's quite tight. Look at all these Bandai Megazords again. The quality control kind of suffered. You can see that this is a Megazord is starting to take shape. And things will actually speed up a lot easier, because for the Serpent and the Piranha Zords, you don't do anything. Just like with the Japanese version, you just... and then stick them onto the ports on the... Oh, God, what's happened there? I don't know, lad. Again, you just have to turn them and stick them on, so the design's not great, yeah. And then the next thing you need to do is you need to take the Shuriken, which you'll notice is the only Shuriken. It actually makes quite a lot of differences, actually, because normally, yeah, this light is pretty much screwed at this point, so I'll have to take it away and charge it up later. This Shuriken basically changes a lot of norms, basically. First off, it's the only Shuriken with some moulded detail going on inside. Second, it's the only Shuriken with clear moulded plastic, which was the same in Ninja, I believe. It's got a different moulded top, and also it's the only Shuriken that is different from the Japanese version in the design, because the Japanese version originally had a Shuriken that looked like the other Shurikens. It had like a fold-out face on it. And the original version of this Megazord would have this face here on the Megazord fold back, and then the Shuriken on here would replace the face with a version of the exact same face. So it was redundant. It would just replace the face with exactly the same face. Replace the face with exactly the same face. So they just cut that out and they replaced it with this. Sculpting is done nicely with the metallic silver. This just clicks into top. Now, if it were to me, this is how the Megazord would be permanently. Notice how there's no Falcon Zord involved. Yes, because I'm just going to remove this just to demonstrate it to you right now. Because on top of this Shuriken, right, there are two holes, and you can't really see them very well, but believe me, they are there. Yeah, you can see them a bit. There's two holes, this side and this side. Now what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to fold up the Falcon, fold up the arm, head, fold up the arms, wings. So it looks like this. So these little orange tabs here, there we go, on each wing at the bottom, clicks, slides into the tabs on the shuriken. And not only is this not easy to do, it's also very unfair with how they don't want to stay in. They keep on wanting to slide out. Well, I seem to have got them done quite nice. It's meant to look like this. These are friction pegs, which is especially unfair when you find out that the Japanese version had actual clips and not just these lame excuses for a Megazord connector. Even when I've connected it, it looks wonky. Right, so we can put this abomination on top of the Megazord. Don't fall off now, please don't fall off now. I need this review to work. There we go, this is the complete Blaze Megazord. Now, the design's not bad. It's actually quite nice for a Megazord in its way. Even in Ninja Steel, it's a pretty cool combination Megazord. Yeah, there's basically no design, because you just literally just strap the arms and legs to each part. They've kind of thought about it a bit with the Falcon, but I do like how they've kept all the individual Ranger symbols around the Megazord though, so that's cool. The design works in both Ninja and Ninja Steel. While kind of out of context in Ninja Steel, it's still a nicely designed Megazord. The reason why it's got fire all over it is because one of the gimmicks in Ninja Steel was that the Red Ranger, or Aka Ninja as it was known over there, would constantly exclaim something like, "Oh, it's burning hot, I'm getting really hot," stuff like that basically. And that's why this is modelled after fire. And since that was cut out of Ninja Steel, not Ninja, the reason why the whole fire idea with the whole catchphrase was cut out of Ninja Steel, it takes this entire Megazord scenes out of context. But I don't suppose that matters, because it's fire. I suppose it doesn't really matter, because one could argue, oh, there's no explanation given why there's an elephant in the main Zord line, and yeah, there was no explanation given in Ninja either, so I'll let them off when cutting out the fire scene. I'm going to let them off, it's no issue. One more thing this Megazord does is it does shoot out all of these Ranger darts here. And before we do that, I'm just going to have a look at one, because they all used exactly the same design, mold design, and the colouring's different. And when looking at this up close, it's got a vague resemblance of a Ninja Steel Ranger, but there's no symbol on the... Oh no, there is a symbol on the head, and it looks like, from a close-up, it just looks like they've just used the yellow Ranger's symbol, so the yellow one on the chest. Very, very not detailed, but I don't think they were very detailed on the original Japanese version. And now this is where things can get a bit messy. By messy, I mean everywhere. To fire these guys out, you've got to turn this around, and oh my god, this is another... Yeah, they haven't thought of this. To shoot... Now, the amount requires lifting this thing from the back here. The Falcon, this part, gets in the way of this gear, so I will need to remove him. There we go. Trust me, if you display this with the Falcon on, the Falcon probably will fall off some point in time if you ever want to take it apart to display the Zords individually. Right, all you need to do to fire the Ranger Zords, the little figures, is that back here there's a little... switchy thing that comes up, and yeah, this also can go up all the way, which forms another separate Zord builder peg, which is how it combines with the Lion Fire Zord. Anyway, you move this down, and then you basically do what you would originally do with the Go-Kaio figure, and that's to rotate it, and rotating it will spin this chest piece, and in turn shoot out the Ranger figures. And I'm really scared about doing this because what if they fall down the gap in the back, in the back of the desk? Oh, to hell with it. Oh, you've got to turn it a certain way. You've got to turn it to the right. I'd say they don't shoot very far. Let's just say that. But again, it's literally contained within the confines of Megazord, so I will let them off. I've got no idea if the Japanese version shoots the darts the same way. They shoot the same scale, but I must say, I think it's a similar situation where for the Q Rangers Qlet, where you've given like a vague selection, where you're given a selection of the Rangers in like vague, like just colours. I think that's nice because it still manages to colour code the Rangers and it still manages to make them look okay. I've got them all here, haven't I? Yes, I have. And in case you're wondering what the chest looks like when it's spinning, here's your answer. The inspiration has got to be a Gatling gun. Because it looks like the barrel of a Gatling gun. It does. It does. Right? That appears to be the end of the Bandai of America Megazord videos. Is there going to be a round of applause? No. Right, so what is going to be next on the channel? Right, the Power Rangers. Right. Damn it, I said that word like 3 times. We're going to start on the Hasbro Megazords, or the Hasbro in this case, starting with the Beast Racer Zord. So tune in next Monday if you want to see that. Bye.